By the mid-90s, gaming was on the cusp of a revolution. 3D graphics were no longer a distant dream, they were the future. And in 1996, Nintendo set out to define that future. This is the story of the Nintendo 64. After the monumental success of the Super Nintendo, Nintendo began working on its successor in partnership with Silicon Graphics, a company specializing in high-performance computer graphics. Originally codenamed Project Reality, this new console aimed to bring arcade-quality 3D gaming into homes. In June 1994, Nintendo officially named the system the Ultra 64, but by 1995 it was rebranded as the Nintendo 64 to reflect its powerful 64-bit architecture. On June 23, 1996, the console launched in Japan, followed by North America in September 29, 1996, and Europe in March 1997. Nintendo 64 wasn't just about better graphics, it was about changing the way we played. The console introduced full 3D worlds, an innovative new controller, and multiplayer experiences that would define a generation. But Nintendo faced a growing challenge: competition. The Sony PlayStation was a juggernaut, and CD technology was taken over. Nintendo's decision to stick with cartridges would shape the console's legacy, both for better and worse. The Nintendo 64 was a beast of its time, packed with cutting-edge hardware. At the heart of the N64 was a 64-bit NEC VR4300 CPU, clocking in at 93.75 MHz, making it significantly more powerful than the PlayStation and Sega Saturn, whose clocks were at 33.86 MHz and 28.6 MHz respectively. The console's graphics were handled by Silicon Graphics RCP, or Reality Coprocessor, allowing for real-time 3D rendering, advanced lighting, and texture mapping. However, the system's cartridge format limited texture storage, leading to the infamous blurry textures seen in many N64 games. Unlike the PlayStation, which used CDs for high-quality audio, the N64's cartridges had limited audio storage. But despite this, composers like Koji Kondo, Grant Kirkhope, and David Wise delivered some of the most memorable soundtracks in gaming history. Perhaps the most radical innovation was the Nintendo 64 controller. With its three-pronged design, analog stick, and Z-trigger, it introduced precise 3D movement for the first time. It also pioneered force feedback with the Rumble Pack, changing gaming forever. The N64 might have had fewer games than its competitors, but what it lacked in quantity, it made up for in quality. Some of gaming's greatest masterpieces were born on this console. Super Mario 64 revolutionized 3D platforming. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time became one of the most critically acclaimed games ever made. And GoldenEye 007 defined first-person shooters for years to come. Despite its innovations, the Nintendo 64 faced an uphill battle. The PlayStation's CD format, larger third-party support, and aggressive marketing helped Sony dominate the market. By the end of the N64's life cycle, it had sold 32.93 million units, far behind the PlayStation's 102 million. The Nintendo 64 laid the foundation for modern gaming. It pioneered analog controls, 3D movement, local multiplayer, and force feedback. And its legacy lives on, with countless modern titles drawing inspiration from its innovations. With the N64, Nintendo took gaming into the third dimension, but the industry was evolving rapidly. Join me next time as we dive into the history of the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo's boldest, most compact console yet.